Word.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Arcade's Weekend Culture. My name is Brian. I'm here with John, the problematic white guy, and we're going to be talking to you guys about the latest happenings in our culture this past week. Not a whole lot's going on. So this might actually be a shorter show. No, I don't even mean that sarcastically. There are fewer big happenings, and I think that's okay. I mean, I definitely have a few things that I wanted to touch on, and in particular, I want to look at the Summer Game Fest trailers. I have like a little video that sort of compiles them all together. So if you didn't watch Summer Game Fest yesterday, I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't really have time. So I was busy with my job and other things. But I sort of like peeked at a couple of things.
Yeah.
So this might
this bunch of marketing hype. Oh, just saying, same as usual. It's the Game Awards 6 months later, without the awards.
Right. Well, I mean, the way I see it, I mean, the games that were featured, there were some that actually got my attention, and I think that I'd be interested to see where they go in terms of development. I like to see. So it's not like all giant AAA studios. In fact, I think there were a lot of surprises, and I basically went through and found the ones that spoke to me the most, and we'll look at some of those later on. So, John Ford, welcome, Norwegian Black Templar, Mr. 0303, welcome to the show. Feel free to, spout off whatever you are feeling. Give us your thoughts. Did you watch the Game Awards? What are your thoughts on that? But okay. So let's go ahead. Before we get started, I want to ask you guys to please hit like, and please, if you're not doing it now, go watch this channel on Rumble. I'm trying to make Rumble my primary platform, but I need more people to subscribe on Rumble for that to be viable. Yesterday I uploaded an interview or a discussion I had with Malcolm Collins from a website called Based Camp. And I guess I committed the horrible sin of monetizing that video. So like when I don't go live, I monetize my videos. It doesn't mean I make a lot of money. In fact, I make nothing, but I'm hoping that maybe over time it becomes something worthy of my time to do. Right now I do it because I want to. And somebody complained in my comment section that I monetized the video. Oh my God, I had to skip an ad. It's like, I mean, if you don't want to watch the video, don't watch the video. But I thought it was a good conversation. I would say if you can stand the fact that there are ads in it, check it out. But I'm also going to upload that video to Rumble anyway, so you can just watch it there. And Rumble does ads too, by the way. So it's not like, this is a sin that's only committed by YouTube.
You can also use Brave as a browser, and that'll bypass most of the ads.
So. Yeah, I use Brave as a browser too. So, but anyway, so. We're gonna get into the stories, but yeah, there was a good. I talked to Malcolm Collins about a number of things like Gamergate, and we talked about the woke right. We talked about the supposed fall of the urban monoculture, as he calls it, and it was a pretty good discussion. He's a pretty nerdy guy. Him and his wife have a channel, and they talk about all kinds of things. So. Check it out. It's on my YouTube channel right now. I will be uploading it to Rumble, but hopefully you'll check it out. So anyway, with all that said, let's get into the stories. So first up, we have this controversy over the new Black Panther. So, okay.
Right.
I thought it was funny, and I'm just making, because we all know this is the meme. The meme has happened, is basically what I'm talking about here, okay? Here, let me give you guys a better version of this. So, Marvel Comics has announced or introduced T'Challa's white son, Kitima, in the first issue of Marvel Knights: The World to Come, published on June 4th, 2025. Kitima, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, is revealed as T'Challa's successor to the Black Panther mantle and the throne of Wakanda, causing significant controversy among fans. No, this is not a joke. They actually did this. And and I think it's freaking hilarious, and that's why I picked this. In the
He
comic,
evidently has a white brother as well. I could be wrong, but I saw that last night when I was looking for the images. It said something about him having a white brother. So who knows how any of this works?
Who knows? In the comic, just so you guys, so this is not in the movies, even though I showed you a potential MCU adaptation. It's not in the movies or anything like that, but in the comics. So normally when they want to change the canon of the movies, they start by changing the canon of the comics. They do it like years in advance, and that's how they plant the seeds to do things later. So like, for example, there's a book called Ms. Marvel. It's the new Ms. Marvel. She's a Muslim girl that gets like inhuman powers. They didn't really know how to write the character. She was created by a woman named Sana Amanat, who is very closely tied to the Obama family and the Clinton administration. But I get that's just a complete coincidence, I guess. And even though the Ms. Marvel book failed in sales and they had to relaunch it like 3 times, they're still trying to make Ms. Marvel happen. And they gave her a show and they put her in a movie, and it just, so like when they do this, it's all like in an attempt to plant the seed so they can later change it in the canon. They did the same thing to Thor when they made Thor a woman. I think it was in like 2013 or something. And I remember complaining about it back then. I was like, this is dumb. And and of course it was obvious like feminist messaging from the get-go, like in the first issue. I was like, okay, I see what they're doing here. And of course they used it as precedent to do it in the films later, which by the way, I don't think Thor Love and Thunder did very well. I never saw it, didn't care to, but that's why this happens. It's all about you alter the canon in one medium that's not popular, or at least not as much of a moneymaker, and then you use it as precedent to change it later, because then if the fans complain, you can say, oh, no, this is canon. We had it, right? So Teal Deer says, welcome to the show, Teal Deer. He says, calling it White Panther is secretly a bad guy and or illegitimate and gets overthrown by a more diverse candidate. Timestamp. This post remind me I was wrong in a few months' time, hopefully. No, I think you're right. I'm going to there's a little bit more background on it. And yeah, that's kind of like, this is not the twist that people might think, although it is still pissing off the right people. So,
right, right. All the people who proclaim diversity and race swaps weren't an issue. All of a sudden, seem to have an issue with it now, as though the turns have tabled.
Yes. Oh, how the turntables. So in the comic, let me give you a little bit more backstory in the comic for Katema. In the comic, Katema challenges T'Challa to a tribal combat duel for the throne of Wakanda, which, by the way, is super barbaric. I don't know why they're still doing that, but I guess it is Africa. So despite T'Challa's efforts to avoid killing his son, Katema defeats him and declares himself the new king. When Katema removes his mask, he is revealed to have blonde hair and blue eyes, marking a stark contrast to his father's appearance. The backstory of Katema's parentage is unclear, while T'Challa is shown to have fathered Katema with his early love interest Monica Lynn. Some speculate that Katema might be adopted or have a different biological mother due to his distinct appearance. Yeah, maybe. And the thing is, the writer of this is a guy named Christopher Priest, and Christopher Priest is super woke. That's how come I know this is not going to be what people think it is. I think I want to see what else has Christopher Priest written. So he has clarified. Christopher Priest, by the way, has said. Let me just read this here. One of the writers of the comic has clarified that the intention behind introducing Katema is to provoke discussion and push boundaries. The comic aims to explore complex themes surrounding identity, legacy, and the future of Wakanda. So Christopher Priest, he is a British writer. It's always the Brits. It's always the Brits, I swear. And I think he's written some like very controversial comics as well, because he's won awards, and that's how you know. So, but He did write though, and maybe this is something that you guys will like. But he did write a tie-in novel to accompany the 1999 movie by David Cronenberg, Existenz. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad.
Yeah, it's a really weird. It's Cronenberg.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Cronenberg Matrix.
Yeah, it's Cronenberg Matrix. Exactly. But anyway, I thought it was just really funny, and it has, of course, upset the Wokies. Let me see if I can. Oh yeah, so what's the fan reaction? The reveal has led to social media meltdown, with fans expressing confusion, frustration, and humor. A recurring Ryan Gosling meme, jokingly casting him as Black Panther, has resurfaced, amplifying discussions about potential MCU implications. Dude, please make it happen. I want him to be like unapologetically the good guy, though. Like that would be hilarious, but they would never do it. Some fans see Katima as a possible antagonist. Yes, set up to fail to restore a Black Panther, a Black Panther, Panther, while others view it as a bold but misguided twist. And you know, sometimes this is the thing too. Like, I'm okay with writers, you know, taking some risks, gambling a little bit, playing around with some ideas. But the thing is that this honestly is getting the reaction that is warranted, because the purpose of it, you know, in the past when they do that, it's because they want to actually replace the characters when they do that. Like Ironheart, like, well, you can pick any from anywhere where you've seen this happen. It's not just comics. It's in movies, it's in literature, it's everywhere. Adaptations to television, Doctor Who. Like, I was gonna bring this up. They got rid of Gatwa, whatever his name is, as the I don't know 14th Doctor or whatever number they're on right now, and then they replace it with Billy Piper. Like, they are really out of ideas, guys. That's like I stopped watching Doctor Who. Like, I was never really a big fan, but I had a friend that was really into it. And he would bring it over and we would watch it. But for me, it was a social thing. Like, I wasn't like, you know, all that invested. But I watched the Tenet and the Eccleston and the what's his name with the Fez.
Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi.
I see. The thing is, I kind of walked out middle of the Jack Smith part, because it was just becoming. I'm sorry, but the Matt Smith, who was getting a little tropey and silly, where he was just like, OMG, so random humor, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. And I was kind of like checked out, especially because I used to watch the old Who, you know, and that shit was hardcore. Like, what was the fourth Doctor, the actor's name, the guy with the scarf, the fourth Doctor.
Tom Baker.
Tom Baker, he was snapping necks. Like, you know, he was snapping necks and cashing checks. And I think that they were really, like, the BBC was really trying to be family friendly. And I know this is a bit of a digression, but they're really trying to be family friendly. And I think they went overboard. So I stopped watching. I didn't even finish the Matt Smith arc. So yeah, that was when I checked out.
I was huge Doctor Who fan. I mean, I started watching Tom Baker when I was a little kid. They used to have it on PBS when I was growing up.
Yeah, channel late at night on a weekend. Yes, I used to watch that.
Yeah, and then I watched all the way through Capaldi, but I did not finish Capaldi once Bill Potts showed up. Well, actually, I stopped before Bill Potts showed up, but it's
I heard the Capaldi run wasn't bad. I heard that it wasn't bad. Yeah,
Peter Capaldi is an amazing actor, and he was underserviced by the writing, but he's such a formidable force of nature in the role that and he's like got like the angry eyebrows. Just I was huge fan, but I did not watch Dr. Karen, as she's often referred to as, Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker, the first female doctor. Yes.
Well, I mean, the first female doctor, except for
before the retcon first female doctor.
Decided that you know, like, it's been a gynocentric kind of thing since forever. And then Disney ended up getting involved, and I was so checked out. But I do actually on Sundays do Who TF Cares is what we've been calling it for this most recent season. I had to watch through the back half of because it's basically one season split into 2 parts. And so I watched everything from the Christmas special this year all the way till the final
Nabuti Gatwa, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Shooty. I tend to say it's Shitty Gatewat, but that's evidently I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but oh well. But yeah, we're actually doing one more episode tomorrow to kind of do I guess a memorial, as it were, because it's over and done because they completely cooked the series. It has had the lowest ratings for any Doctor Who run in history, and seeing as how it got canceled in the 1980s for having low viewership, it doesn't look too good for the future. And bringing Billy Piper in just shows the lack of creativity and the utter just desperation that they have to try to stunt people into staying tuned. But yeah, it is not been good, and I will forever be able to watch, like, the first, I guess, well, the first 17 years of this most recent incarnation. Yeah, somewhere in that around there. And then all the old classic stuff is still good, but yeah, I would say once you get to Peter Capaldi, you pretty much stop right there. It's not, and honestly, even his last season that he was the Doctor for, like I said, I didn't make it all the way through that one because at that point in time the writing was just kind of a little too hackneyed, and I could tell something was afoot. There was a little bit too much fuckery in place, and so I just stepped away because I cherished the Doctor, and I don't like having to watch a pale impersonation of it. And yeah, this most recent run was some of the worst. Like, I mean, there is jumping the shark, and then there's destroying the entire galaxy universe. They went, it got infested by Disney, so of course it became a multiverse thing, and it's just beyond retarded.
Well, yeah, I mean, let me ask you a question of the Brits that are any Brits that are watching. Is like getting a chance to be cast in Doctor Who as an actor, like, is that like the pinnacle, or because it's like it's historically been known as a pretty low budget TV show. It has like a devout following, but I wonder, like, because sometimes you'll see like people like Michael Gambon was on there for like a Christmas special. You'll see some pretty big names, but it makes me but like, is it though? Because I don't know. I don't know if I suppose. I mean, I would like to know. So the Brits that are watching, if there's an actor that's really good at what they do and they end up on Doctor Who, is that something you're supposed to find like impressive, or is that kind of disappointing? Like, do people do that towards when they're rising in their career or when they're falling in their career? I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of both. I'd like
it's all over the place in that regard, because the Doctor has gone through various incarnations. Like you said, with Matt Smith, he was very much like a fish out of water. That was the youngest Doctor that had ever been cast up until that point. I think maybe Shooty might actually be younger than Matt Smith was. I could be wrong on that. I don't pay too much attention to
the actor.
Yeah, but Matt Smith, every time a Doctor comes in, there's always kind of like a proving ground, and then the Doctor emerges, through the actor, and it kind of takes form. But everything in the most recent 7 years since Dr. Karen has just been a complete departure from it actually being the Doctor, and it's been more about kind of identity politics and all that insanity, and just putting down the idea of the patriarchy and white men. Like there's constant, like when Jodie Whittaker was playing the part, she made it a constant. Well, the writing made it a constant point to talk about how this was the best version of the Doctor that had ever been.
Oh God.
And yeah, because women's intuition and all that is somehow better than the Doctor's take on just actually being analytical and just generally being able to deal with situations and I will never, if I never have to watch those episodes, I will be glad. And thankfully, we've decided to switch over to watching Red Dwarf after this, so I don't have to worry about that, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, Shooty, he cried in just about every single episode.
Oh my God. He was fighting toxic masculinity,
Yeah, and he, effectively was wearing a dress during the final season. Was his main costume.
Sure. I believe that. Well,
the more we dwell on it, the worse it will get. So
yeah, like I said, I checked out a long time ago for a reason. Yeah. So there is that. But yeah, I don't think Doctor Who is written with men in mind anymore. I think it was written with, like, it was a family show. So I'm not saying it was like for adults, right? It was a family show so that you and your kids could sit down and watch it. But since no one's having families anymore, I guess they're just aiming it at women now. And that's why I think he cries in every episode. And it's like, it's basically turned into, like, I don't know, like some kind of fashion show or something. So, and of course the quirkiness is like, oh, look, he's so eccentric. Like that's like a feminine thing, I think what men want to see on shows like that is they want to, like, we like to analyze like the world building, like look at the different races and how the Doctor solves problems without violence. Like that's fascinating. So it's not like men need people getting blown up, but to see that someone approaches things intellectually, I like. But if you're just gonna cry every episode and like talk about your feelings, I feel like this isn't for men anymore. So no. Yeah, Norwegian Black Templar says it's become yet another soap opera. Yeah, that's what it is. Torchwood did that too. And like, so a lot, but anyway, look, we're getting way off topic. I'll say, because we got to move on, and I didn't even have Doctor Who down as a topic, but Doctor Who's dead as far as I'm concerned. Billie Piper, I'm sorry this happened to you. I liked her when she was on the show, but I also liked her on, she had like a role in a TV show called Penny Dreadful, which I really enjoyed. You've seen Penny Dreadful?
I've seen bits of it.
Dude, it's awesome.
I saw it. I saw it back when it was a movie before they turned it into a series. But she was also in a show called Secret Diaries of a Call Girl, and I would highly recommend that. That was awesome. Yeah.
Okay, I think I know where this is going. So I guess it is Goon in June. So, all right, we're going to move on to the next story. But last thing I'll say about this is obviously this is a gimmick to sell comics. They're going to make him a bad guy. Mark my words. It's going to be an antagonist, or there's going to be some white guy behind everything, and everything's going to be fine. Because this is what we're getting from this is that in every setting or every story you tell, if the setting is in a world that in a, let's say, a part of history that has historically been, European, they will diversify it. They'll throw stuff in. Like, I don't know how many like games and TV shows and movies that supposedly take place in like a medieval setting, and there's just like a mix of everybody from like all these different people, like it's modern day London. But if you set something in a country where the predominant race is not white, then it won't be diverse. It'll just be those people. It'll be like, oh, we're trying to be authentic, right? And all of a sudden, all that diversity doesn't count. And this is a strange inversion. And maybe Christopher Priest, who is not black, although his name sounds like he's black, maybe he is testing the waters to see how the reaction would be. But I have a feeling that the other shoe is going to drop. So fortunately, I'm not invested in this at all. So anyway, moving on to the next story. Let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Thank you for subscribing, Sarbringer Singh, and hello, Carola Tapia Urola. said hi. Hello. I don't know why it does. Why does it say that? I wonder. Is that I might have a thing set up to automatically do that, because I notice a lot of people who watch on the vertical chat, it just says so and so said hi. I don't know if that's like an automated thing because you're doom scrolling and you happened upon my video. So hello, Corolla. All right, let us move on. So, let me just, I gotta adjust something here too. Second, guys, I'm sorry. Just a second. Oop, that's wrong. I'm adjusting something in the vertical chat here. So Sega's in the news. And it's because of an announcement. So I thought I would share this with you guys. Sega announced its support for Kaleidoscope Trust, a UK-based charity focused on advocating for the human rights of LGBTQ plus people across the Commonwealth and beyond as part of Pride Month. So I will say that this June, the Pride Month rhetoric was toned way down compared to previous years. And that's a good thing. That means that like the sort of vibe shift is exposing that people don't really want this stuff shoved in their face all the time. And we don't need like this sort of stuff being pushed on children in particular. But that doesn't mean that the ideology is gone, obviously. And so Sega is, maybe they're not reading the room, maybe they don't care, I don't know, but they are supporting the Kaleidoscope Trust, which is a UK-based charity, as I was saying. So they're organizing funding efforts with their stream team, the Sega stream team, to support the charity's mission to create a world where LGBTIA plus individuals can live free, safe, and equal lives. The announcement was shared via Sega's official X account, and it raised £12,546 in 2023. Move received mixed reactions. Some fans praised Sega for their allyship and consistent support, while others criticized the initiative, questioning the charity's goals or expressing skepticism about corporate involvement in social causes. Of course, my thing is, I think that the problem with this is the whole child mutilation thing is what I have an issue with, which is essentially what this trans rights stuff supports. So,
ultimately, yeah.
Do you want to add anything to that?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I've mentioned it before on the show, and I generally tend to, whenever, this identity politics, identity crisis kind of stuff that has come about over the last decade or so gets mentioned, is that, these children are being exploited for life extension technology, so that people can figure out how they can extend their lifespans if they're financially well off. So it's really quite tragic, and seems as though a lot of I guess handicapped people are being handicapped even further, to the point to where 41% of them don't really see a point in going on at a certain point in their transitions.
That's the thing. Like, this is just not the solution to the problem. To essentially like just blindly support this kind of thing is getting people killed, and it's causing people to kill themselves, and it's at least like ending their genetic line right there. Once you start popping hormone pills and doing stuff like this to yourself, you're basically out of the gene pool, and you'll wake up to that later, and that's when I think the suicidal ideation comes in. So yeah,
chemical castration. It's literally like the injections they do for chemical castrations are what they use for their gene therapies. Yeah, it's terrible thing. Like anybody who actually looks at it from an objective standpoint, like if you're over the age of 18, you're living your own life, doing your thing, whatever. It's not going to affect me. But when it starts kind of being this thing that's preying upon young children that are naive and don't know anything about that kind of aspect of reality, or they shouldn't, like this over sexualization of kids is really messed up. to say it as nicely as I can. And you know, it's interesting whenever they mention how this is kind of a thing that is going to affect pedophiles and the like. That's generally when you'll hear from the TQ plus community that this is a targeted attack on us. Like, excuse me, why is that now? You know.
Well, that's another thing too. If you didn't see it in my talk with Malcolm Collins, we did talk about the transgenderism and how, you know, very few people that engage in it actually have gender dysphoria, and whether the jury is actually out on whether or not gender dysphoria is even a thing. But like, if we accept that it is, there's a very, 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 very small percentage of people that have it, and a lot of this stuff stems from being, you know, porn addicts or engaged in autogynephilia. I'm not saying that watching porn makes you trans. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that too much of this stuff can, like, you know, does have an effect on people. And I think that well, they become Cenobites. They turn into anavalens, which is what we talked about that on the show last week, and I also talked about it with Malcolm. Anavalens is essentially a Cenobite from the Hellraiser movies. So somebody who is in constant search for stimulation, and that's kind of what we're getting at, right? And it gets to the point where you're like, well, what if I like lived as a woman or the opposite sex or whatever? So, but anyway, Norwegian Black Templar says, heads up, the repo Discord states they support LGBTQ plus. Well, I mean, like, that's, you have to understand that's likely the default for most people, because like it's been normalized already. You know, Yuri Bezmenov, it's normalized. We have been, its situation has been normalized. It's going to be very difficult to untangle. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. They're Swedes after all. I like the game. I think Repo's a lot of fun. It's very addictive. But I'm not expecting Swedes to like get, you know, that this is that's a problem. So, but anyway, so yeah, so Sega is at least upfront and honest about their support for transitioning children effectively. So anyway, let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. We're kind of blowing through these pretty quick. Yeah, it's likely just a virtuous thing. They may believe it. I mean, but like I said, it's not. It's the norm for most people to support LGBTQ people, or at the very least, like most of the time. Think about it. Okay, you're a normie, right? You don't know what transgenderism really is. All you know is that there are some people who think that they should live as the opposite sex. And that's it. Like, you don't know any trans people in your life. You just see it online sometimes, maybe hardly ever, honestly. Because I think that, like, because of what we do, we're going to see more of it, right? We're going to come across it more. But but the average person probably never sees it. And maybe they think, well, transgenderism is strange, but gay people and bisexuals and lesbians, that's fine, right? Because people don't want to be seen as bad people. So they basically just tolerate everything to some degree. And I think it's not really, like, I don't get upset that people accept that, because I think it's been normalized in our culture. I think that normies will just be like, well, I don't see how it's hurting anybody, and then they'll leave it alone, right? I think that if you make a stand against it, that puts you on the outside. That's like the very fringe thing to be like, no, I don't accept this, right? So yeah, and I think that it's probably good for business also, but I think that honestly, if you press like the devs of Repo or whatever game, it doesn't matter, on the issue, they'll probably tell you that people should be allowed to live their lives however they like, and that's probably what they believe, and that's because they don't really know all of the data on it, right? That's ultimately what it comes down to, and most people don't have the time to even look into that stuff. So I don't really hate them for that, you know?
Yeah. And I know, quite honestly, at this point in time, there's a lot of lesbian, gay, and bisexual people that are really quite, you know, up in arms
Fed
about the
up.
TQ plus community. Yeah, because they've effectively poisoned the well with their nonstop living out loud. Like, you know, it's like sexual veganism. It's like, let me tell you everything about like, like my proclivities. And it's like, you really don't have to. Like, you want to live your life and just kind of like, be happy, what the hell ever. Fine, but stop making it like the way that you enter the room,
Yeah. If you want to figure out who's like a normie, because they're like the normies and the wokies, when it comes to LGBTQ stuff, they may sound like they're on the same page, but you can tell the difference if you say propose a straight pride. And if the normies if they shrug and say, I don't have a problem with that because they're just generally tolerant of everything, then you know it's a normie. But if they get their panties in a twist or their non-gender conforming undergarments in a twist, then you know that they're actually like, woke on that topic. So, because I saw some memories I had where I commented on the straight pride parade that Milo Yiannopoulos proposed like a while back, and people like the community, the woke community of gays and lesbians, the gay race communists, they were up in arms about it. And I was like, why are you guys so upset? Like, why does it matter? And I had people in my replies saying, oh, because this is about being seen as like an equal, and this is about the fight for equality. I was like, well, equality on what grounds? Like, you're not dead. We're not throwing you off of a roof. We're not stoning you. You're allowed to live your life. But the thing is, it wasn't actually about that. It was about having exclusive control over that conversation. In the same way that feminists want to control the conversation around sex. Like, they don't just want equality for women. They want to control what it means to be a woman and what it means to be a man. That's what it is, right? And everything else is a means to do that. It's like saying it's okay to be white. Exactly. It's just like that. The people who agree with you are just normies. The people who get mad at you, those people have the they have the woke contagion, the woke virus. So
and it's actually gone beyond the point of equality. They want equity, which is privileges, and equity is vengeance. It's built upon the idea that they demand a complete undermining of social orders, and they want to be given more in the area of where, like, because if we're actually about equality, it's like, all right, well, just live your life, and why do you need a parade? Like, if anything, why draw attention to yourself if you're trying to just live a life? It seems as though this kind of goes beyond just going and pursuing your own happiness. It seems as though you're trying to actively, cause division, and it's there. The more you get into it, especially when, like I say, when it gets into how they're like, oh well, you have to start transing kids before they start to go through puberty because we want to make sure that they are more passable. It's like, because why exactly? Because I thought, because these people's logic doesn't really make sense, because when they sit here and say there's more than two genders, but then you have to do gender affirmation care based on being male and female. It kind of undermines the whole concept of even what that is. So it's riddled with holes, and anytime you start talking at length about it, it's like I don't know, it's just it's a mind conundrum that will cause you to blow a circuit if you actually sit here and try to, like, just follow their train of logic, because it's completely off the rails.
Yeah. Anyway, let us know what you guys think about this one in the comments. It's okay. We're gonna move on to the next story. So this month is not only Pride Month, but it's also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and also like just like a men's month too, which is an interesting month to choose to make Pride. Not that men care, because generally men are not concerned with having days or months named after them for existing. I think generally, like, that's a woman thing. Like, men don't give a shit. But it is still nice to acknowledge. It's like you have to sort of, be assertive in acknowledging it because men won't do it themselves. So, because they don't want to draw attention to themselves. They don't like to see themselves as in need of support generally.
Right.
But it is men's mental health awareness month, and Ubisoft seemed to acknowledge it, which was very out of character for them, let's say. So this is from Rainbow Six Siege. So they were promoting the Rainbow Six Siege game. There's a cynical way to look at this as well, and I'm fine with that. But ultimately, like, you know, I don't need a corporation to like give me props unconditionally. I'm okay with them doing it under the condition that, you know, maybe I'll buy their game. But Rainbow Six Siege said it's okay to take off the mask. Strength and vulnerability are not mutually exclusive. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. We'd like to encourage you to reach out to your friends, ask them how they're doing, pick up a game together, look out for one another. You matter. And there is I guess it's like an image from the game. I've never played Rainbow Six. So I don't really have. I think I have a friend that plays it and he enjoys it quite a bit. But one of the old ones. I don't know.
Yeah, I played it. I played it like over a decade ago. One of the earlier iterations of it. But yeah, I've given up on Ubisoft in recent years for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So, this marked a shift from previous year's focus on Pride campaigns, sparking mixed reactions. Some praised the acknowledgement of men's mental health, while others viewed it as a performative or a response to cultural pushback against DEI initiatives. That is likely the case. Like, you could, you know, when they look at the writing on the wall, when they see how the last election turned out, when they see the vibe shift happening, because Ubisoft as a company wants to survive, they're like, okay, we need to change our messaging. This gay shit's not working. So let's move. What else is going on in June? Oh, great. Men's mental health awareness. We'll go with that. That's fine. Like I said, you know, you don't have to like believe in Santa Claus if you run a company to make Christmas stuff. Like, it's okay that you make Christmas stuff. I don't care. I don't care about your belief system. You know, just put the fries in the bag. But if you want to, like, you know, if you want to give a nod to something, that's cool, right? And I don't have a problem with that. It won't change my mind either way. Some people were really mad that they didn't make this about Pride Month. But, and here's the twist, because of course there's always a twist. Endymion shared that there's, according to a Ubisoft insider, they are pushing Pride stuff internally. And allegedly, Ubisoft still hasn't shown any internal help or posts about Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So let's look at this really quick. This is an internal memo. June is Pride Month, a time to celebrate the achievements of the, and I'm not going to read all that shit, community. Advocate for equal rights and honor the history, resilience, and diversity of two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, and other diverse gender and sexual identity individuals around the world. Damn it, you guys got me to read it anyway. It's also a moment to reflect on the road ahead, and this year, You Be Proud is, oh God, You Be Proud, what? Is putting a specific focus on the trans community to encourage reflection on the role we all play in creating an inclusive workplace. But like, I guess I'm not going to read all this shit, but they're basically saying support matters now more than ever. Many countries have rolled back legal rights and protections for those people. In particular, the rights of trans individuals in education, healthcare, and other important public spaces have been threatened or restricted, including in parts of Canada. Oh no, the humanity, no. But not Canada. That should, isn't that against the law? So I feel like they're not being completely honest about this, because first of all, I don't know what you mean by legal right. I don't know what you mean by protection. Like, that's no, who is entitled to that? Who is entitled to protections from anybody? Allyship isn't a passive label; it's an active commitment. So okay. So here's what I'll read the rest of this because I'm curious about this. Here's what I'm getting from this, though. So this is all stuff happening inside of Ubisoft. So the people who work at Ubisoft are the ones that have to deal with this shit, not the customers that play their games.
Right.
Not that you should be playing their games, because I don't think they have anything good. But I'm saying this is a gun pointed inward. They're telling the people that work there, this is what you're basically being put on notice, right? So it says, allyship is a verb. Allyship isn't a passive label. It's an active commitment. It means listening to and learning from 2S LGBTQIA plus team members, normalizing inclusive language and actions, and challenging others to do the same. Here are a few steps, a few simple steps you can take. By the way, when you see the acronym, the gay acronym come up and it starts with a 2, that's how you know it's Canadian. Because they always open up with the 2 spirit, because that's related to them and their like endless guilt for the natives that live in native Canada, basically. Like it's pathetic, dude. And they don't actually do anything for them, by the way, on like, you know, a scale that's useful. All they do is land acknowledgements. It's pathetic. I can't stand that shit about Canada. I'm just saying, like, my wife hates it more than I do, and she's from there. But anyway, so here are a few simple steps you can take. Respect people's pronouns. Check your colleagues' team profiles for their preferred pronouns and use them, even when they aren't around. If you're unsure, it's okay to ask. Using the correct pronouns is a simple but powerful way to create a more respectful and inclusive workplace. Share your pronouns when meeting new colleagues. Adding your pronouns, example, she, her, he, him, they, on Teams. They, what do you mean they, them? Oh, well, no, I don't want to assume. And when introducing yourself in a new group sends a strong signal to trans and non-binary individuals that they're welcome and safe here. Join You Be Proud. One of the most impactful ways to act as an ally is to get involved with your local You Be Proud ERG chapter. Everyone is welcome. It's a space to learn, connect, and actively support 2S LGBTQIA plus inclusion. So okay, learn how to better support your transgender colleagues. You Be Proud Montreal, of course, I told you it was Canadian, have created the Guide to Being a Trans Ally, a helpful resource filled with actionable steps and thoughtful insights. Show your support for the community by visiting the Ally Effect site and clicking I am an ally. This sounds like a grift. I mean, it is a grift, obviously. So, so Ubisoft is telling, I mean, I guess thank you for acknowledging like Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And sorry that this is happening inside your company, but you guys deserve it. Like you guys should, this is kind of justice. It's Ubisoft eating itself. I'm fine with that. So
yeah, I think I think they went with you know, the outward show of support for Men's Mental Health Month, just simply because they've had a string of losses financially, and they've pretty much lost their core you know, customer base. And so they're trying to do anything they can at this point in time to try to stem the tide while they get this you know, money deal through, so Tencent can effectively own the company and try to you know, convince people that things are going to be good again. But ultimately, it's still rotten to the core on the inside. You still have the same hiring managers. You still have the same people in marketing. You still have all the stuff that got it to the state of fuckery over the course of the last 15, 20 years. It's yeah, Ubisoft is a lost cause in just about every facet, and I do feel you know, some measure of sympathy for the people that are just trying to be game designers and do their jobs, but a lot of the people that are surrounded right. But a lot of people that are surrounded by either at the lower level of activism and the higher level of just you know, fucktarded you know, corporate elitism. You know, they just kind of have to like do all that they can to hold on to their job, because we are going through the time where, you know, I like to always point out that DEI hires were meant to be DEI fires, and there is such a large cross section of people that have lost their jobs in recent months and years in the game industry, that if you're somebody who's just trying to do the job and you know, hold on to the one that you have, because if you're a white dude and you don't get to keep the job that you're currently at, it's going to be a hard time getting another one. So yeah, it's but also at the same time, I would say strike out, go do something independent, make a game that matters to you, and make it focused on the fun and the flow state, and leave all this silly identity politics bullshit.
There's plenty of studios doing good stuff. You don't have to work at Ubisoft. Like I could not work at a place that insisted I use pronouns. Like that would drive me up the fucking wall. Or insist that I do anything that isn't like what I am, right? So it's not just about the specific kind of language, it's the idea that they can control your language at all. And I know in Canada, they passed a bill, Bill C-16, that basically makes it to where if you don't use pronouns, you can go to jail. If you don't use somebody's pronouns. That's why Canada's shit, by the way. So sorry. I mean, I know Canadians, but you guys got to fix your mess. Stop blaming America and Trump for your problems. Fucking like get your shit together, Canada. Define yourself by what you are, not what we are. That's kind of that's the Canada's problem, is that their identity is not America, and it's killing them. It's killing them because they'll do anything to not be like us because we're the bad guys. So it's true. But anyway,
clearly.
Yeah, that's what they think. So, but anyway, let us know what you guys think about that one in the comments. Okay, so that almost gets us to the end of the first hour, and we're already at the Summer Game Fest. So we're gonna look at some game trailers. I grabbed this from GameSpot, not because I like them, but because they did a decent job of compiling all of the trailers that I was interested in, minus a couple that didn't show up that we'll look at afterwards, but we'll look at each one and then we'll talk a little bit about them. So, all right. So this is Resident Evil Requiem, which is the 9th in the series. And, well, we're just going to watch it. This is running on the RE engine.
Sir.
I'm gonna lower it a little bit.
We're
I'm a sucker for Resident Evil, I gotta tell you. Like, I've always liked it. I know that Capcom is not like in most people's good graces right now, and I understand that, but I still like Resident Evil.
Understandable.
Grace Ashcroft.
Yes?
My office.
Coming.
Grace Ashcroft is the so here's a little bit of trivia if you guys don't know. There was a very, very good game on the PlayStation 2 called Resident Evil Outbreak. It was the first Resident Evil game that had an online component to it. It wasn't well implemented because the online thing was so new at the time. And one of the characters was named Ashcroft. This is the daughter of the character from that game.
We found another body. One that exhibits the same pathology as the others we've been investigating. Now, I need a good technical analyst on this.
Okay.
I need your eyes on the crime scene. The Renwood Hotel.
The hotel is from the game, I think.
I know. That's where your mother was murdered.
Yeah, see, Resident Evil Outbreak. This is a reference to that. There's a reference made to Resident Evil Outbreak in the Resident Evil 3 remake too.
Face the past.
Right.
It's nice that they're making nods to that because Outbreak was great, but for whatever reason they abandoned it like as a IP. It was a four-player co-op game, survival horror, and each character had certain abilities, so you had to work together. You know, it wasn't just like it wasn't like 5 where you're just running and gunning. So.
Right.
Stay close. They're coming.
I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one. The chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
Investigating all these strange deaths.
So this is Raccoon City. Remember they blew it up?
I've seen.
And this is like the you can see there's the police station from Resident Evil 2 right there.
Right.
Even the statue that you had to like open up. So this is Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil Requiem. Mr. 0303 says horror co-op sounds very tricky to implement. It is. You have to work together. Because I don't remember that much of it, but I remember there was like a character that was a little girl that you could play, and because she was a little girl, she could like squeeze into places that other characters couldn't. So you had to it was like there was survival horror, but there was a lot of puzzles, and you had to work together. Like there was a guy what they started with is what they used. So there was a guy, there was a cop or security guard or something. He had a gun, and there was and there was like a mechanic or an electrician, and he had like abilities. So you had to use them together to get out, and it was pretty cool. You can probably find some playthroughs online, and I wonder because like the game is from a long time ago, Resident Evil Outbreak, and they made a second one, so that's how popular it was. I think it was like case number 2 is what it's called, Resident Evil Outbreak case number 2. And I think that there might be a way for people to play that online still. I just haven't looked into it yet, but I'm fairly certain there's there's some way to do that. I'm sure that some tech savvy person in the chat can tell me about it. But they should make a remaster. I think they should bring that back. It was pretty cool. So Resident Evil Requiem, I think that if you listen, I'm not going to go back and play it, but I think I heard Chris's voice in there, and so like Chris Redfield's probably in it, I'm guessing, and maybe somebody else. People are wanting Leon to come back. We'll see, but I will say, okay, the Resident Evil IP is still pretty solid, and I've been enjoying it. I haven't played every game in the franchise, but for the most part, they've been pretty solid. I think the weakest one recently might have been like the Resident Evil 3 remake, but I still liked it. It was just a little short for my taste, so.
Right.
Let me see.
I'm not. I played the first Resident Evil, first 2 or 3 of them. I definitely played through the first one when it came out all the way back when, and then I played Resident Evil 2 on Nintendo 64, which was a technical marvel considering that they took all the stuff that was, on the CD at the time, and then got it to actually fit on like 64 megabytes from from 6. They basically reduced it to a tenth of its size and still managed to have all the full motion videos and all that kind of stuff, because of course they compressed those down and did a whole bunch of weird technical wizardry to make it happen. But and then I played Resident Evil 5 here and there when I was in college, but then the most recent ones I really haven't had.
Resident Evil 5 is so good. Like I love that game. I play it with Lindsay. We play together all the time. We were like, it's the co-op is the business. I'm guilty as charged. I even thought Resident Evil 6 was fun. It was a little crazy. I think that those two, Capcom should remake them both and fix the problems. Like fix the AI in Resident Evil 5, fix the controls so they're a little bit more like in line with modern controls, and make the tone of the game a little bit more on the horror side and a little bit less on the action side. And then I think keep the boulder punching, that's fine. But like, because you can't get rid of that. But I would, and then with 6, you can just do the same thing, like tone down the Michael Bay shit and like do more of the horror survival stuff. That's what people want. I think that would work. So anyway, the only RE
they are currently on sale on Steam.
Yeah, all the all the Resident Evil games are on sale right now. Big sale. I think you can get Resident Evil 5 for like $5 or something. And if you get it for $5, you want to play co-op, let me know. I'll get it. I have it on PS4. I have it on PS3. I'll get it for PC. I don't give a shit. But anyway, so Chris Boulder Punch Redfield could do everything by himself without breaking his sweat. I never played that game single player because I heard such horror stories about the AI Sheva. So I only play with people when I play Resident Evil 5. But anyway, let me see. Somebody said, Master Groa says they should just HD remaster RE Outbreak 1 and 2. Yes. Boss Brown says, yo, HBA. What's up, Boss Brown? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me on Rumble. Really appreciate it. Zara Sin says, Brian, I hope you saw the Acts of Blood trailer. It's developed by one guy and looks like a decent beat 'em up. Yes, I actually I may have uploaded a video. I played the demo like way back and I uploaded it to my channel. I think it was during when I was doing beat 'em ups. I can't remember when that was. I think it was like Martial Arts Movember. It was last November. And I played Axe of Blood. It was very buggy. I think it crashed on me a couple times at the time, but it looks like it's come a long way. And I know that they put a trailer out. That's what I mean. Like the Summer Game Fest has a lot of indie titles in it. There's a lot of indie title standouts. You know, there's like, of course you're gonna get your big things like Resident Evil, but like there's a lot of like smaller publications from AA and even indie studios that I think are getting like a lot of like much needed attention. So I'm gonna say thanks to the Summer Game Fest for at least, you know, showcasing those games, right? So anyway, I'm a fighting game guy on here. I always pass through when I don't always get to chat though. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I'm big into fighting games. Although I've already ended Melee May, which was last month when I was playing fighting games all month. But I still like playing fighting games. But this month I will be playing some fighting games because it's Goon in June, and that means Dead or Alive. so like, stick around for that. Because I will be playing some fighting games this month. So anyway, let's look at the next game on the list. Did you have something else to say, John?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, it looks like you can currently get every mainline Resident Evil plus Revelations 1 and 2.
Revelations are great. Those are good games too.
Yep.
And that's also two-player.
Yep, they're all under $10 except for Resident Evil 4 is $20. But everything else is $10.
Oh, everything's $10. Oh, okay.
Well, most of them are $5. But
okay, most of them are $5. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can get the not the original, but the remake of the first Resident Evil, which I never played. Resident Evil Remake, the first one, because it still has the tank controls. But I'm pretty sure you can get that one for like, you know, less, maybe $5 or less if you never played the original. So I never played the remake of the original because I didn't feel the need to. But I understand that there are some differences, so it might be worth checking out. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into the next video, the next trailer. For Summer Game Fest. So that's coming out next February. I look forward to that. Yes, I do play on Fightcade. I have played a couple times. Stranger Than Heaven. Never seen this one, actually.
Yeah.
What is it with video games and old phonographs? Do you notice that
there were a lot of phonographs featured? Yeah,
like it was in the Resident Evil trailer, and now it's this one too. Oh, it's in Japan. Oh, I think I have seen some of this trailer. This is really crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my, your music, your saving grace. Let's sing together. Let's keep on singing.
This is like a Yakuza prequel or something?
It's made by the Yakuza team. I know that.
Is it?
Yeah. I remember from a coverage I did on it last year around November. Because they were talking about Yakuza, and then they transitioned into this, and that was like the first teaser for this thing.
I'm gonna lower this a little bit more. That is so yeah, I kind of knew right off the bat. I was like, that looks like Yakuza, and I was right. I played the original Yakuza back in the day on the PS1, I think. The first one was either PS1 or PS2. And all I remember were the crazy load times. Like every time you ran into like a guy, got into a fight, they had to load the fight, and it was like a long ass load time. And I was like, I just want to avoid the fights. But yeah, I mean, I did get I think Yakuza Kiwami, which is like a remake of the original. I think, I don't know. I'm not up on the Yakuza lore, but I might be doing like a themed month around video games that are like themed around organized crime, because there's a lot of them. And I mean, you could do GTA, but like I was thinking like, you know, I have like one of the Mafia games. I have some Yakuza games. I have Sleeping Dogs. I have a couple of games like that, you know, where they have like this sort of, you know, what you call it? What's the one where you're a detective and you're investigating? LA Noire. It's a great game. Yeah. But anyway, it was PS2. Yeah, long ass load times though. Boss Brown says Chris and Leon has to be some of the most gang street level characters made. Actually, getting into indie project that has Leon as a playable character in a fighting game. That's like a Marvel versus Capcom. I know what you're talking about. I've seen some of that. I may have there was like a Mugen that I think had him in there. But anyway, let's so that's Stranger Than Heaven. Looks okay. I mean, I don't know if that's my thing, but all right, this next one, this is Mouse for Hire. I've talked about this game a couple of times, so we're finally going to see a little bit more, and I'm still interested. Mouse PI for Hire.
I think that was another one of the real surprising things that I noticed while watching the special last. So, a lot of games, like people are smoking cigarettes again and things like that, and it's like, wow, I see like feminine women, like straight up cheesecake shots and all this kind of stuff. It was like they really kind of went out of their way to be like, no, dude, bros, we haven't given up on you entirely. Please stop buying all the indie games that are less than $80. You know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, like you just like lean into some of the, you know, masculine and feminine stuff. Just lean into it, and you'll be surprised at how successful it's going to be. Hence, Goon and June.
There's something rotten at the heart of Mouseburg.
Crooks beware. Detective Pepper's in the house.
There are those who would bend the city to their will.
I love this animation. It's kind of short. They're not giving us a lot.
To save it.
They won't even know what hit them. Oh boy. Here we go.
So I have had this game wishlisted since I saw the first trailer. But there you go, Mouse PI for Hire still coming. And again, so you know, as far as I know, pretty small developer, and it's a first-person shooter with a Cuphead style, like sort of, you know, old Fleischer, Max Fleischer style animation from like turn of the century. It looks cool to me. So Troy Baker voices my dreams. Yeah, I wish he'd shut up about politics. All right. Let's look at the next one. I think the next one is Sonic Racing. I mean, I'm not hyped for that. I could skip this one. I don't know if you guys want to see it, but I'm not a big Sonic guy.
It's a racing game. It's
like a Mario Kart game. Yeah.
But Sega.
So I'm gonna skip that one. But I do want to look at go ahead.
I was gonna say, and it's got like a few you know, notable Sega characters, and evidently it's got a Minecraft integration as well.
Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Yeah. All right. Next we got Onimusha, Way of the Sword, which I was always excited for this for a while as well. Onimusha is like a fucking goated old Capcom game back when they were like at their peak.
Yeah.
And
so many sword play games coming out that Ghost of Yutai has no chance for success.
Why would you just kill, like, assassinate humans when you could be fighting fucking undead zombies and Japanese spirits? Like, come on now. One of the things that Onimusha in the past was known for too, which was unique for the time, was that the main character was actually modeled after a real actor. And they did that all through the franchise. I don't know if the fourth one did. But I remember the third one had...
and Luc Besson.
Luc Besson, that's right. Yes, he was in the third one, I believe.
Yep.
So I'm here for that. I'm here for it. Way of the Sword. Yeah, Onimusha's it's a good franchise. I'm glad they're bringing it back. All right. So let me see. Or play Stellar Blade on June 11th. I have the Stellar Blade demo. I will either play that. I might pick up the game, but it depends. Like if it runs well on my machine, because like my machine's a little old. But I am definitely going to be getting Stellar Blade. I have the demo though, and I might play
Someone, in the weird intersection of the corner of the internet that we inhabit, somebody has actually already made a toasty variant of Eve.
Oh, really? You mean like a mod
for
the
Stellar
game?
Blade? Yeah, there's a toasty mod.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
John Ford says I finished the demo. How long does it take to finish, would you say? I don't know if it's like, is it too short for a 2-hour stream? I guess if I take my time. Saiga was the best Onimusha character though. Saiga, which game was that? I played all of the four. There were 4. I played 4 games. There was the main character from the first. I don't remember. There was a different guy. He had like blonde hair or something in like the 4th one, unless I'm getting it mixed up. But anyway, all right. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. But yeah, he says not long. Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna look into picking it up. I think my machine can run it on like medium settings, but I don't know if that's like, gonna be worth it. So we'll see. All right, but anyway, let's get into the next one. The next one, this one is really interesting. Okay, it's called Felt That, and I want to get your impression. Have you seen this one?
Yeah, I did. I watched. I thought this one gave me. It's got Rocky vibes to it, but puppets.
Yeah. Now I want you guys to help me out here. Is this real or is this graphics? Because I can't tell. It looks like real puppets, but that would suggest that it's like, like a video like format. I don't think that's gonna work as a game.
I mean, when it actually gets into the boxing rounds, I think that this is, it might be modeled off of actual puppets, but when it actually gets into the boxing sections, it looks really good.
It does. It looks really good.
This reminds me of a cross. It's like the intersection between Rocky and Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
Face off against unlikely opponents. Look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks. If that's in-game graphics that I'm looking at, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
So Felt That boxing. So yeah, it's puppet boxing. Like, if you want to reward creativity, that's the move right there. This reminds me of when the Muppets were good. Yeah. You can keep the demo data. It will let you keep your unlocked skills and upgrades. Cool. Boss Brown says, don't really care much on gooning things. Well, I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just it's a joke, guys. Don't take it so seriously. It's basically going to be like a cheesecake month. But as you are playing some fighting stuff, there is another Mugen game called Waifu 5. It's pretty decent. Okay. Sony and Shift Up don't deserve any money after they lied about the censorship of Stellar Blade. You can keep the demo data. Will let you keep your unlocked skills and upgrades. All right, so that's Felt That. It looks good. There hasn't I don't know why no one has tried to make something to compete with Punch-Out. Like there was one game that came out called Thunder Ray. It was a little indie title, and I picked it up, and it wasn't very good. It was actually pretty awful. But I don't see how anyone couldn't do Punch-Out and do it right. So, Arc Raiders. I'm gonna skip this one. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah,
it didn't do anything for me. Okay, so so we're gonna skip that one, and we're gonna look at Mafia: The Old Country, which this looks good too to me. I never played a Mafia game.
We had a couple of them. From I think Epic had them as freebie games at one point in time.
Who are you?
Sono Enzo. I work here.
Yeah.
My friends, my family,
my
beautiful daughter.
Actually, in my library.
Dr. Rizzi looks out for people around here. Sometimes the client is feeling less than cooperative, and we need to
teach them a lesson.
Oh yeah, no, actually, I got the first Mafia on my Steam library.
them of their obligations.
Might have to check into that.
This is between us and Spadaro.
Where I come from, commitment means everything.
If this is how he wants it, this is how it'll be.
The Dons noticed you, Enzo. This is an opportunity.
Do you wish to commit to this family?
Enzo! We can't let them get away!
When Isabella became involved, it became our business.
Yeah.
He died for my father, for his honor. I won't let you do this.
I mean, I don't know how these games typically play, so I don't have a, but it looks interesting in terms of the story, so.
This family, loyalty is everything.
They've kind of shifted, I think, as time has gone on. Because I think the first one.
I mean, is it basically just like a GTA, but it takes place in the, a different time period?
If I remember correctly, I think the first one was kind of more of a. Let's see if I can find some screenshots on it.
Was it like an open world? That's what I'm kind of getting at.
I think yeah. Basically, it was yeah.
Rumble failed. It does not have the Italian gesture. It doesn't do this.
Yeah,
doesn't have
1930s
this.
GTA.
Can I get some of these in the chat? Okay. Anyway, what were you saying now?
Oh, the first one, yeah, it was like a 1930s GTA, and then by the
that's what I
third
thought.
one, yeah, and then the third one was like in the 1960s. So,
but it's still like it's like an open world, but it's a crime story kind of thing. But like in an open world, but it's more around the mafia. But that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. The mafia wasn't Italian, but anyway. They're represented as Italian, but no, not really. All right, next we have Mortal Shell 2. So I played and beat the first Mortal Shell because I was looking for a decent Souls-like, and it was free on PlayStation. I thought it was fine. I thought it was pretty good, and it was a really interesting world. The second one looks like a massive leap forward from the first one. So let's look at the trailer for Mortal Shell 2. It was CULT-ure that recommended it after I played it, but he did recommend it as a decent, like Souls-like, if you're looking for something like that, along the lines of maybe like a Lies of P or a Lords of the Fallen. So.
You think you're the Harbinger? You might be.
Oh yeah, this is this is very metal.
Mm-hmm.
They know naught of your nature. You're a weapon, child.
Oh shit. Like this stuff wasn't in the first one. These brutal kills.
Right.
Yeah. And a gun too? That was definitely not in the first one. God wills it. Ouch.
They'll worship you until you fail. Then
think I have an accordion.
I think.
So that's Mortal Shell. They had a Balchinian in there. Yeah, something. I don't know what that was. It does look good though. That one has my attention. So yeah, that's Mortal Shell 2. It's brutal and looks pretty good.
It's got an ambiance to it for sure.
Yep. There's the next thing is like a Fortnite thing. I'm gonna skip that.
Yeah.
It's basically like more Star Wars stuff for Fortnite. Who cares? Like, not me. If you're into Fortnite, that's cool. But it's not my bag. And let's get into Code Vein 2 is the next one. So I tried to get into Code Vein. I don't know. It just didn't grab me. Like, I played it for a little while, and maybe this is an improvement over that. We'll see. But some people swear by this game, though.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people getting really hyped up about this, but I can't say that I'm too familiar with it.
For some,
it's basically like anime Souls. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Right?
Like vampire anime bondage Souls. Like there's a lot of like, you know, like raver costumes. Like it's a very specific aesthetic.
Right.
Our hopes lost long ago.
My face.
But you. You have the power to change all of this.
Why does he have that P? What is that on his face? Mustard?
Time were a weapon to wield.
Maybe it's gold.
Cat girl.
Could you undo the sins of ruin? And this time, or maybe the next, you'll find.
You know, when you see like anime characters with like fully rendered 3D faces, it looks a little strange. You know, like unless you make it, give it the illusion of 2 dimensions, it looks a little bit weird.
Right.
Like their faces are made out of plastic.
Yeah, I mean, this one definitely is very stylized, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, I can't say that I was too familiar with it. I know it exists, you know, being the second one, but I can't say that I ever really got into the first one enough to know anything about it.
I try to get into it. It was like I said, I wouldn't fault someone for liking it, but it wasn't what I was looking for. Okay, this one also looks really good. So much in the same vein as that, not Lego Voyagers. I just skipped that. Of that boxing game with Muppets. This is also very interesting. It's called Out of Words, and it's got like it's stop motion.
Yeah.
So by Wired Flying,
it reminded me in some ways like It Takes Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like a co-op game for 2 players, and it looks. You know what it made me think of? There was this amazing film studio named Leica that made movies like Coraline, Paranorman, Kubo and the Two Strings, Box Trolls, and all their movies are really good, but it's so much work and it takes them so long and it costs them so much money to make them because they're all done in stop motion and it's all done by hand, that they never make enough money on their movies. Their movies don't do well enough to justify the work. And unfortunately, I don't think they're completely gone, but that's why their projects are so like few and far between, because they don't make a lot of money on the project. They often get overshadowed by like Pixar or Disney or DreamWorks, so people don't know about them, and they do amazing work. But it got me thinking, like, what if Leica tried making a video game, and they applied, because their ability with like motion, like stop motion, is so good, you know. And yeah, Kubo and Paranorman, those are my favorites from those guys. They're really good. So anyway, that's what this reminded
definitely,
me of.
Yeah, I will say the stop motion in this with the appropriate aesthetic is certainly far better than that South of Profitability that came out a few months ago.
I don't like, to me, South of Midnight doesn't. I know that people are claiming that it's stop motion, but it doesn't look stop motion. This does.
No,
this
it just looks like a
it
game with
like
bad frame rate.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's listen to more of this, or watch more of this. You know what other game this reminds me of that was also stop motion? There was a game called by the Neverhood called Skull Monkeys. It was on the PlayStation.
Yep.
That kind of reminds me of this as well. I love Skull Monkeys. That was the shit. Very difficult. Made by Doug TenNapel, the guy who created Earthworm Jim, and a very like outspoken like Trump supporter online. He has a channel called Doug in Exile, which is pretty good. So, but he's a great artist. So that's Out of Words. Looks pretty cool. I like that there's a you know, like a real, let's say okay, there's a real like creative slant to this, you know. So all right. Then they got Dying Light, The Beast. I'm gonna skip that one. Didn't really do anything for me. Jurassic World, I'm skipping that one too.
Yeah,
Blighted looks okay, so let's check this one out. So we're gonna look at Blighted.
Looking over this decade.
I think this might be like a roguelike or something. Oh, maybe the guys that made Guacamelee, which Guacamelee is great. I love that game.
This was the first game they featured in the Day of the Devs part that came after the Game Fest main show. And it got into it, like it was about the only part of the Day of the Devs that I actually found interesting. There's the lore. They kind of go into what goes on with it. Evidently, when people die, they plant a seed in their brain, and a tree grows from it. And then, if you eat the fruit from these brain trees, then you'll learn from, you know, their experiences and things like that, which is like, wow, it's some interesting stuff going on there.
Yeah, eat your brains and get your knowledge. That was something from he was like the Aztecs or the Egyptians or something. But okay, yeah. So Blighted. So Guacamelee, if anybody's ever played it, is a great like Metroidvania game. It's pretty old. It came out on the PS3. And you're a luchador guy, and you're on an adventure to rescue your girlfriend or something, right? It's like rescue the princess. So like very, very baseline plot. I don't give a shit. Guacamelee's a shit, and it has 2-player co-op where you can team up with a female luchador, and you learn new moves, and you use them to traverse the platforms. And then they made a second one that involved like, you know, switching between dimensions, and it added a whole new dimension, no pun intended, to the gameplay. So Guacamelee is great, and this is the same developers as that. So let's look at this.
Did it all come to this?
Yeah, Drinkbox is what they're called. I always get these guys mixed up with Clay, the guys who created Shank, but it's not them. It's a different team.
The fruit saw the lives they lived and passed their knowledge to future generations. Until Sorcisto, in his lust for power, consumed the brains of the living, spreading this blight. You harbor it too, I see.
Yeah, it looks kind of like what's that game that everyone loves? Hades? It reminds me of that.
pray the vultures consume you before the blight does.
So yeah, that's Blighted, coming soon, and it's on Steam again. So, okay, so Blighted looks pretty good. Oh, this next one looks really good too. It's called Ill, and look, I know that there's like maybe too many games that involve zombies, but this one looks really interesting.
This one, yeah, is quite something. Very visceral.
Yeah. Really out there too. Like,
yeah.
That's like some Cronenberg shit right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's like the zombies from Resident Evil,
body
and the
horror
mannequins
for sure. Yeah.
From Silent Hill, you know, Grudge fucked out some weird hell spawns.
Pocket. Yep.
I do like that it's got proximity damage effects, like you can actually blow off limbs and all that kind of wonderful stuff.
Yeah. Giants too. That like they're all like kind of has a Dead Space vibe to it as well.
Right.
Yeah, from the same studio that did Atomic Heart. That's right.
Yeah.
Look at that. What the hell was that? So that's Ill.
Yeah, little zombie babies.
Kick them. Got it here. So yeah, Ill. I'm probably gonna put that. Some of these are gonna go on my wish list. We'll come back to this to see if there's anything else that stands out. Next is Mecha Break. So I was thinking about I have the Mecha Break demo. I think Mecha Break is one that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I've heard good things from it from people that played it on the demo.
Oh, that played the demo? Yeah, I have the demo, but it takes a little while for my machine to run it, so I haven't been feeling like strongly about setting it up because it takes a while to load. But I did make my character, and that
the character
that was an experience in him itself. So
it was a Cheesecake Factory from
for sure.
What I had heard.
Well, what's weird about it too? I'm like wondering, like, if I go through all this trouble to make my bodacious pilot character, but I'm playing a mecha game, am I ever going to see the character? Like, is it like how does that work? You know,
maybe in between missions or something.
Yeah, maybe. That's what I'm guessing. All right, so gonna jump ahead to Acts of Blood. So again, this game, Acts of Blood, is a game made by I think it's like a Indonesian studio, and the action it's based on their very successful films, The Raid and The Raid 2, which if you've never seen The Raid or The Raid 2, they're great. Check them out. They're basically like action movies, martial arts action movies. And Acts of Blood is basically in that vein. And when, like I said, I played the demo, and I'm pretty sure I made a video and put it on my channel for Martial Arts Movember. So it was last November. And but it was at the time pretty buggy. So I think it's come a long way. I'm going to look and see if maybe they have an updated demo, like that's, a lot less buggy. So we'll check out the trailer for this. Looks like they've definitely come a long way from there. So
they left me with nothing. No justice. No peace. Just names on the wall. The hunt isn't over.
Yeah, this game's over. I can already tell this came a long way from when I played the demo. Kind of reminds me of Seethe.
Yeah,
but it has it's got parkour in it, so they're trying to do something different. And the X-rays are new. The highlighting is new. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there's weapons. That was in the demo.
There's gun combat.
It didn't work very well when I played the demo, but oh yeah, I remember that guy. Entropy Zero. I don't know who they are. Whoa. Here you go. Axe of Blood. Looks good. Come a long way. I can already tell. So, what do you think?
Yeah, it's got a very upbeat kind of flow state to it, I'm assuming. It's like kind of reminds me in some ways like the first time I played Batman Arkham.
Oh,
And
yeah.
just kind of got into that groove of just kicking ass as Batman. That's kind of like
I was thinking Sleeping Dogs, but they're basically pretty similar. Sleeping Dogs is similar, like in terms of the mechanics and stuff. So yeah, Axe of Blood, and then we got like let me see. Well, there's one more in here, and then there's something that didn't make it in here, which is Atomic Heart 2, which they put a trailer out. So Zarasin says, I knew it was in your wheelhouse when I saw it yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. Ross Brown says, Armored Core and mecha fighting games are really the only ones worth playing. Yeah, I love Armored Core. Armored Core is like my fucking jam. Again, why aren't there more games like this? There are a couple of smaller studios that have made some mecha games, and like I got into Front Mission, the more like turn-based strategy, but I like the Front Mission games too. But anyway, let me see. The next is Hitman: World of Assassins. I don't know. We'll look at it. I don't know. So this is a World of Assassination. I'm sorry.
James Bond and
known only as Le Chiffre, a financial mastermind with suspected ties to the criminal underworld.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah, this is interesting.
Poker game at the Casino Monarchique.
It is part Hitman, part James Bond.
James Bond, but like Casino Royale specifically. Okay.
Yeah.
Casino Royale is a really good James Bond movie, though. Like it's one of my favorites. It's up there with GoldenEye. Sometimes I like it more. Sometimes I like GoldenEye more. Those are like two of my favorite. Pierce Brosnan was a great Bond, underrated in my opinion. Anyway,
unacceptable.
I've invited these people for a reason. I know their weaknesses. Mr. Rengang, he's too impatient, and Miss Bai, well, she likes a drink. Don't know about the newcomer, Mr. Smith, though. He's the only wild card. Well, this is turning into an interesting evening.
Welcome to the VIP room here at the Casino.
Michael
Reaper.
God, I can't say his name. Guy who played
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah.
Yep.
Friends, wouldn't you agree, Mr. Le Chiffre?
Okay. No, not doing Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver. Doesn't look good to me. It does not. Okay.
Wu-Tang forever.
I like the Wu-Tang Clan music, but when they try to like go outside it, remember that Wu-Tang fighting game that came out? Does anybody remember that? It was terrible. It was like I think it was like a 4-player. Let me see that it was on the PlayStation. I think it was just on the PlayStation. PS1. What was it called? Wu-Tang Shaolin style.
Yeah.
Terrible game, dude. It was not good. It was not good. It was just not good. And the graphics were ugly. It had music though. It had good music. That much I can.
I think it came around. There was a 50 Cent game that also came out around that time, Blood and Sand or something.
I heard that game was not bad at all. I heard that game was not bad at all. And
well, Def Jam Vendetta, the first one, was
those games are
a wrestling game.
Those games are amazing. The Def Jam games are amazing. They're great. They're great. I mean, they're fun. They nailed that shit. Yeah,
the wrestling game was on point. We I made when the second one came out and it became more of just a straight up fighter game. We made a character, named him Shovelhead. I went and it was because like it was right when they were kind of expanding the boundaries of slider controls and things like that. And we made made one of the most just ugly looking game characters that I've ever made in all my years. And yeah, we called him Shovelhead, and he had like a 7 head and like this big Mongolian like Mon kind of jowl. It was
yeah,
short, fat, stocky dude. Yeah,
I think when I played it, I was not very creative. I just made myself. But like, if I went back, I could play it again and stream it. I would make like I'd try to make Kanye West. I think that would be that would be the way to go. I'll make Kanye for those games. That would be great, right? Have give him like the grills and everything. Just go all out.
Mm-hmm.
Do do do. All right. But anyway, so let's look at the next trailer. This is Atomic Heart 2, and I don't know if I have much else. I could show you guys a trailer for one of the games I plan on playing for Goon and June. If there's time, I'll show off a trailer for it because it doesn't look like a bad game. So, but okay, let's look at this. And this has Queen in it, so it might get banned in certain countries. I'll try to I'll lower the volume more. I don't know if it's gonna help, but
yeah, it's the mainstay of the trailer. They also had the thing on there for Cube, which is evidently a set in the same universe as all this.
As what?
It's called Cube.
Cube. That's right. Yeah, I should look at that too. Yeah. I forgot about that one. I never played the first Atomic Heart. It looked like some BioShock shit, and I kind of wanted to try it out. But then I heard like mixed reviews, so I didn't. But now I'm starting to think maybe I missed out. It's kind of like the Outer Worlds was another one that, I heard was like, if you like Fallout.
Outer Worlds is all right.
Punk.
But well, Outer Worlds was all right, but it definitely had some covert wokeness in it. I'll just put it that way.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get Atomic Heart right now for $20, the first one.
Oh, the first one?
On Steam. Yeah.
It's those chicks again, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like, if I'm assuming we're looking at gameplay, but I can't tell. Like, some of it looks like a mix.
Right.
Of, gameplay and...
Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of, it's actually, you know what? The first one was given, like, BioShock in a way, because of the style. This one's starting to look a little bit like, what's the game I was thinking of that it reminded me of? Far Cry, actually. A little bit.
Yeah.
They had the balls to put strippers in a modern game. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So that was Atomic Heart 2. Let's look at Cube. I'm gonna put that one in real quick, and we'll make that the last. There was a trailer for Cube, right?
Yeah, it happened right after this one. The Cube,
yeah.
Yep.
But the Cube isn't it kind of you know what I think this is? Isn't the Cube kind of like a big crossover thing? Because there was that show on Amazon, Secret Level. I think that it was real quick. Does anybody remember or have you ever seen the Heavy Metal movie? It was an animated movie. You ever seen the Heavy Metal movie?
Yeah. I've got it on my Plex server.
Of course. You know how I knew that you did. You know how the Heavy Metal movie is essentially just an anthology with lots of short stories. There's like one story that sort of like ties them all together. It's that orb. The what?
The Lochnar.
The Lochnar. It's
the name of the orb. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an orb that move. I think that like the Secret Level has the same. They were trying to do something similar, where it had like this symbol that was recurring through all of the short stories for Secret Level, and I think the Cube is that. I think that's what the Cube is. So anyway, let's take a look. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Now, heavy metal, I encountered when I was very young because I had older brothers. I think I watched it when I was 4.
like this looks like the Half-Life guy.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I've never played Half-Life, but is that the Half-Life guy, or am I just crazy?
Looks very similar to.
When it showed up, I was in the lab. I didn't even see it. You know, I felt that same fear, though. A terrible sense of my own powerlessness.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little. Dr. Kleiner. I don't know. I never played Half-Life. It's one of the games I'm planning to get to.
What if it was always there and we've only just started to see it?
Yeah, actually, I've got Black Mesa now, which is basically a reworked version of
Black Mesa,
the original
Half-Life.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a fan edit.
Yeah, see, there's Atomic Heart again.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what this is.
Yeah, this is within the universe of Atomic Heart specifically. It seems like it's going to be like possibly some kind of multiplayer combat thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it looks
I don't know.
interesting enough.
Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. Heavy Metal 2000 had a good soundtrack. I didn't see 2000.
The soundtrack was great for Heavy Metal 2000, but it got away from an anthology, and then it was just like one big long story.
Act 2 or whatever.
Yeah, and it was all right, but you know, nowhere near as good as the first one.
Yeah. I guess it's in the same universe. So they have like 2 games coming out in the same setting, like pretty close together. That's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. Let me see. Heavy Metal is worth watching just for the music. I think it's talking about the first one. Zara Sin says the first one. Yeah. Yeah, Heavy Metal was definitely different. Like there was nothing like it at the time.
Union Nyborg, man.
John Ford says he has both movies. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so this is the game I'm gonna try to play this week for Goon and June. I want to show you guys. It's called None Holy, and it's well. Let's just take a look.
Indeed.
It's a very small indie game. It's a roguelike with warrior nuns, sexy warrior nuns.
Mm-hmm. I can dig it.
That are like half vampires and fight vampires and stuff.
Nice.
And they have different abilities, and there's 3 characters, right? Same the Purifier.
Indeed. Tell you what, nuns look like this. I go to church more often.
Yeah, so it came out just a couple months ago, and I thought I would pick it up. I think it was like $10. It was very cheap, and so I picked up None Holy. So I'll be playing that one this month at some point. I'm not great at those kinds of games, but I'll certainly give it a shot and see how far I get. So, you know, if you liked, you know, The Great Rebellion, you might like None Holy. So it might be worth checking out.
All right.
Norwegian Black Templar says, do you have Dante's Inferno for PS3? No, I don't. I did not pick it up. So, okay. But thank you for the suggestion. I guess you recommend it. I don't know. All right, let me just look at the comments here. I think we're done, guys. It was a good God of War clone.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had extended cheesecake today, so you know, and we're in the 10-minute mark from
from the normal time. Yeah, exactly.
So I think all there is to do at this point in time is our outros. I will be probably working on some production stuff for the rest of the day. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I got Who TF Cares tomorrow over on Will of the Fans, starting at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific. And we're going to just try to put this whole shooty Gatewat mess to bed and just be over and done with it. And of course, I'm there on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. And we're still looking for a new third, since I've kind of taken Ryan's chair since the deplatforming. And then other than that, tomorrow I will also be on Toasty's channel, start at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and it will be a bra stream because we cleared over $800 in donations last night when we were streaming here on Rumble. It's the most we've ever made on any one stream. We had a fan funded flame war. It got out of hand, and it was like an episode of SNH. We spent nearly the first 2 hours of the show just playing clips for money donations, things like that, before we actually got into the conversation that we meant to have. But I'm with Toasty Sundays, Tuesdays for Latina Candy with Sonia Lisette, and I will just be a disembodied voice in the background, and then Thursdays and Fridays. And then, of course, I'll be back here again with you next Saturday. And other than that, I'm just, man on the internet. You get a hold of me through my X profile. It's got the links to the Discord and all my other stuff. This is a nice laid-back show today. I think I'm going to take a nap after this because I've been up for almost a day now. But with that said, safe travels ahead. Have a wonderful weekend going forward, and be awesome as always, everyone.
All right. Well, now I know, like I need to have some tits, and then I can make some money on this platform. But I don't.
That's how you do it.
At least not the kind that you guys want to see anyway. So, but we're gonna wrap the show up there. Again, there's a lot coming this month for streams, and I will also be doing interviews. I've yet to sit down with Ryan, but we will try to set something up, and then I'll post that in the same way that I posted my talk with Malcolm Collins. And I have other people in the works too. I'm trying to get in touch with Luke Weber. Well, I've been in touch with Luke Weber, the animator, but he's a little shy about going and talking about stuff online. But I do think that it would be good for him to do that. So be on the lookout for that kind of stuff. But with that said, guys, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. And if you like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of The Week in Culture. And we will talk to you guys in the next one. Long live Vivian.
With the glass ceiling broken, all the oppressed groups shall prosper, especially the most oppressed group of all, gamers.
I want people in the industry to be a little bit louder about people being mean to other people, and maybe say it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe say we don't want you around if you're going to be a cunt.
Yeah.
And hateful. And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not because anyone's making them be diverse, because the world is diverse, you stupid motherfucker. And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically, bitch.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all pussies.
Yep.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt.